Oh, yeah, some Return of the Mac by Mark Morrison. Ralph Williams here. Good morning. We're here with Telling It Like It Is. Leo Haggerty will be joining me in a few moments. And we have a lot to talk about this morning. And I want your feedback and your comments on what we're talking about in a second here. Hang on. All right. I'm having trouble seeing Leo here. Hold on a minute. Let me get Leo. Let me get him up here in a couple seconds here. Leo can see me, but I can't see Leo. So we got to fix that here. We're going to do that right now. All right. Technical issues, as always. You know how it is with electronics. So there we are. All right. Okay. Okay, folks. All right, everybody. We're going to talk today here on Telling It Like It Is. We have plenty to talk about, including we're going to talk about the coaching situation in the NFL. And I have a question for everyone today. Which new head coach you think will be the one that will not make it, and the one that will make it as a new coach? All right. Last year we didn't have that many, but this year we have plenty. So, all right, here comes Leo Haggerty. Good morning, Leo. Okay, Leo, you got to turn your volume up because I can't hear you.
How's that? Better?
That's perfect. There you go, Leo. All right, we have Leo Haggerty with us from Amped Up Sports. Thank you, Leo, for being part of the program as always. My question to you this morning is, Leo, and this is what we're going to talk about primarily this morning is, what are your thoughts on these first? All right, what are your thoughts on these new head coaches? Which ones do you think will make it and which ones won't?
Well, let me go with the ones who I think will make it. I'm going to start with Raheem Morris because Raheem's already had, he's jumped into that pool already. And again, let me give you a little background with that. When Gruden got fired down here in Tampa, Raheem had just had what was considered to be a tremendous interview. I think it was out with Denver. And he came back, and within a couple of days, Gruden was fired. And the Glazers, they went to Raheem and said, would you like the job? Well, of course he's going to say yes. Was he ready? No.
Okay, right. Yeah, I do remember that, Leo. Yeah.
Yeah, no one's ready that young, and he had to create a staff and all that. And he saw some success, but now he's been down the road. He's been a coordinator. He's been with a Super Bowl champ, and he's going into Atlanta, and they got weapons. So Raheem's going to do very well, I think. Now, Campbell at Tennessee, boy, that was a surprise for me, Ralph.
Yeah, Callahan. Yeah, I didn't expect that either at Tennessee. And you know who's still sitting out there? Mike Vrabel. I was real surprised he didn't get a job.
And Bill Belichick. Now,
Bill Belichick too, yeah.
How would you like to be one of those 32 guys coming into the season knowing Belichick and Vrabel are just hovering out there? If you go the first 6 to 8 games and you're 2-6, 1-7, you may be looking for a job because, hey, Bill, does the hoodie want to come here? Hey, Mike, how about you coming here? So you know what? That's a lot of guys are going to be on eggshells early. And, the other hirings, Dan Quinn, I get it.
Yeah.
I get what's going on there. McDonald out in Seattle, I get.
Right.
Canales. Dan Morgan was out in Seattle. He saw Canales for 12 years, from 2010 to 2022. And I'll tell you what, he turned Geno Smith around. He turned Baker Mayfield around. I'll tell you what, he's got a project up there in Bryce Young. He's got a project. And you know, Ralph,
Oh, absolutely. That's
yeah,
going to be a huge project up there because what I couldn't understand is how in the world Frank Reich couldn't fix it. I mean, and as I mentioned before, and I don't know if you heard me, I think it was Wednesday I mentioned when you were on my Pittsburgh Sports Talk show with me and the guys from Amped Up Sports, and I appreciate that roundtable. That was so great. That really made our show, and I appreciate that. But what I wanted to say was I said this. How in the world could you screw up when you had Frank Reich, Jimmy Caldwell, and you had Deuce Staley as your coaches? I don't get that.
Well, Ralph, sad to say, and you're seeing this in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
It all revolves around the quarterback. If
Yes, it
you don't
does.
have a quarterback, you're not going to do well. And
No,
again,
not at all.
I'm going to go back to Greg Cosell. Greg Cosell and I have been friends for years up at NFL Films.
Okay.
And I said to Greg one time, I said, well, all the guy needs to do is manage the game. And he goes, oh, no. Your quarterback needs to make plays. It's just a matter of how many he needs to make. Now, Brock Purdy doesn't have to make as many as probably Patrick Mahomes, but he's still got to make plays. Anybody who sits there and tells you, well, he just has to manage the game. No. You got to make plays because guess what? It's going to be third down somewhere, and it's going to be third and long sometime during that game. You're going to have to make plays. And Purdy did a great job of doing that.
Yes,
and
he did.
You got to have that quarterback. And again,
and look at the reward. I mean, the reward is the Super Bowl. I mean, he really worked hard, that kid, and he was hurt. And everybody thought after last year, and he was hurt at the beginning of the season. I think he had an issue with his knee or something at the end of the season. And everybody thought, oh, well, he's done, and all this other stuff. They got rid of Garoppolo, Lance. They don't know what to do down there. They're lost. Well, guess what? Purdy ended up in the Super Bowl, and they ended up bringing in Sam Darnold as his backup. So, I mean, we'll see what the 49ers do. Okay. I thought Dave Canellis kind of overreacted. I don't think he should have took that job. But I said this before. It was going to have to be somebody that's desperate to be a head coach take that job in Carolina, and I was right because it sounded like he was desperate to take that job. And I wish him well. He's a good young He was a good young coordinator. He fixed Baker Mayfield. The offense moved the football for Tampa this year, and they ended up in the playoffs. So I think that Dave Canellis with that job, but I wouldn't have took that job. But you're right about Callahan. I don't think he has enough experience to be a head coach. I don't think I know he's been a coordinator for a little while, but that's it. And that Mike McDonald out there in Seattle, I'm wondering if they made a bad mistake.
Well, you know what, Ralph? We got to wait and let's see what, all the shoes that drop. Remember, when Gruden got hired in Tampa, one of the caveats was you're not getting rid of any of the defensive assistants. You're keeping Monty Kiffin. You're keeping Joe Barry. You're keeping Rod Marinelli. You're keeping Mike Tomlin. You know what Gruden said? No problem. I don't care about defense. I'm going to score points.
Right.
My concern with Canales, my concern with McDonald, and my concern with Callahan is can they put a staff together?
Now, right. Yes.
Canales has already brought two coaches from Tampa Bay with him. Well, he brought Idzik with him, who was his right-hand guy. He was the guy in the booth talking to him on the headset. And he brought them in. If you can bring a staff together, I don't care if you're 30 or 80. That's the key because you are just the face of the franchise. The hardest thing to do going from a coordinator to a head coach is now you got to manage both sides of the ball, but you've got to manage it. A lot of these guys, they have to give up play calling because they can't take care of everything at once.
Yeah, exactly.
Again,
how many head coaches have we seen, including Arthur Smith, who's our new offensive coordinator, try to do both jobs? And you just can't do it. It doesn't work that way. You have to be a head coach. You gotta be involved in everything and not just offense. But the key ingredient here is, and I remember when Bill Cowher first got hired, everybody said, "Oh, Bill Cowher, this, that, and whatever. We don't know him." But he went out and he aligned himself with Ron Earhart as his offensive coordinator. He had Dom Capers. Bruce Arians. Dom Capers. as his defensive
Wisenhunt was there
coordinator.
for a while too,
Wisenhunt
wasn't
too.
he? Yeah.
Yes, yeah, he was our offensive coordinator. Yeah, and I wish Wisenhunt would have got that job instead of Tomlin, actually, because I was kind of pushing for Wisenhunt, but he did a good job down in Arizona. And then after that, he stunk up the joint around the league. He was head coach at Tennessee for a few seasons, did nothing. And then he was the head coach down with the Chargers. And I think they made the playoffs maybe once, and that was it. And he was supposed to try to do something with Phillip Rivers down there, and it just didn't work out with him. But I don't know where he is now. I think he's working in high school or something. I don't know. A lot of these guys go that way, you know.
Yeah, and you know what, Ralph? Understand this, and please, my listeners, listen to what's happening now. When someone offers you a head coaching job, in the back of your mind, you're thinking, this may be the only job I'm offered ever. So to turn it down is a difficult thing. Even if you know, boy, I'll tell you what, 80, there's an 80-20 chance I'm going to fail here.
Right.
But you know what? Being there and having that shot, grabbing that brass ring, and plus there's only 32 people in this fraternity, so
Right.
it if they can establish a staff and they can establish the locker room. The biggest thing is, you're going to have veterans that are pretty close to their age. So,
Right.
If you can get a buy-in from the vet, and that's the first thing Canales, McDonald, and Callahan need to do. They need to sit down with the veterans. Guys who've been there, 8, 9, 10 plus years, sit down and say, okay, guys, what needs to happen? And I can remember up with the Giants when all of a sudden everything changed. And, Strahan said, the head coach who was, feet on the floor, be at the meetings early and all that, all of a sudden he came to us and said, what needs to happen? And we gave him a list, and you know what? He followed it. And guess what? The Giants won the Super Bowl. So, yeah. And that's just pretty much it. It's not like college, because every
Right.
4 or 5 years, you can roll back those first year sayings because you got a whole new clientele. You don't have that. Plus, you're not coaching boys, you're coaching men.
Absolutely. Okay, when we come back, we're going to talk about Chip Kelly. Will he come back to the NFL and the Super Bowl and a whole lot more right after these words? Let me talk to you today about the original hometown pizza in Moon Township, right on University Boulevard. They have some of the best pizza you'll ever have. 412-264-4444. Call for takeout, delivery, or eat in. Go to the original Hometown Pizza today. Mention my name, Ralph Williams, and you will get a discount on your bill. Hometown Pizza, Moon Township, some of the best of the original Hometown Pizza. Do you drive a dirty car? Why? You need to have your car detailed, and detailed by professionals at P6 Auto Detailing, New Kensington, Pennsylvania. Call today, 412-965-6578. P6 Auto Detailing. They are the professionals at detailing cars. That number again, 412-965-6578. P6 Auto Detailing in New Kensington. Okay, Leo, we're back, and we had to pay a couple bills here. So,
hey, Ralph, let me jump in here real quick.
Go ahead, Leo.
I'm going to start a new column and post on Saturdays because we're done with NCAA football.
Yes.
But I'm going to call it, records that will never be broken. And in honor of the NHL All-Star Weekend, the record I think will never be broken is the most points scored in a season. Wait, Ralph, wait till you hear this.
Wow.
Wayne Gretzky, when he was with Edmonton, 84-85, 215 points in 80 games. That's almost 3 points a game. No one will ever break that. And you know what? The top 10 NHL points in the season, Gretzky's got 8. But guess who's got the other 2, Ralph? And I'll give you a clue. He's close to home for you.
Yeah, Mario Lemieux.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And Sidney Crosby, maybe.
Yeah, Mario Lemieux. They're both Mario's, I think, 5th and 8th on the list.
Oh, okay.
Gretzky is the rest. But yeah, I want to give your listeners a quick heads up on what's going on there. I'm going to put out every Friday records I don't think will be broken. And boy, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of them that come to mind, aren't they, Ralph?
Oh yeah. Hey, a couple things I want to talk about right now. I want to send my condolences to the family of Carl Weathers. As you know, he
Oh
passed
God.
away yesterday, 74 years old. And the interesting part about this was I was talking to my co-host, Smoking Jim Frazier, for Sports Corner and the Pittsburgh Sports Talk Show, and he said I just saw him on a commercial, and
Yeah.
he's on a commercial on TV, and I was like, how in the heck did this? You know what I mean? I just couldn't believe it when I heard Carl Weathers passed away, and I mean that was just crazy. One other thing too. And I'm going to keep on spreading this until McKeesport apologizes to this coach.
Oh, Ralph, I heard this yesterday. Go ahead,
Yeah,
let him have it.
yeah. Oh, I am. I'm going to. The McKeesport Area High School administration ought to be ashamed of themselves. All right. First of all, you let a coach walk away and resign that was involved. That was a women's basketball coach. Her name is Amy. I think her name's Magnan or something. And I'm trying to get her on my show for Monday for the way we see it, and I haven't been successful yet. I hear she's not talking to the media. The school district really isn't talking to the media. They have egg on their face. They've had 4 incidents since her stepping down. There was a big fight between some freshman girls. There was an incident with security. A security guard there who was having inappropriate sex with a student, and she got herself pregnant. And then there was and one other incident where a teacher got hit in the mouth or something. So a lot of these things have been going on in the last month at McKeesport High School, and this is just another thing to add to it. They have egg on their face. According to the administration, the seniors walked out on her, with this basketball team. Now, the football coach, his daughter is a backup reserve bench player, but she's the best in the PIAA. So I'm wondering if there was a coup there to get her out so that the coach's daughter can play, because now the head coach of the football team is now taking over temporarily as the basketball coach. Leo, what do you think about all this?
Obviously, Ralph, when you're dealing with high school and you're maybe dealing sometimes with college,
Right.
that uh, you better check and see on your roster who the parents of these players are. If you got one who's a principal or administrator or a school board member,
A
hey,
school board member, right?
be
Yes.
careful because
Oh,
they
we've
think,
seen that happen here a few times,
oh,
so a couple different schools. And then the GM of the radio station, he was on filling in yesterday morning because our morning guy at Beaver County Radio was out with Punxsutawney Phil. He was out there in Punxsutawney. So he was filling in, and I didn't notice, but he was a high school basketball coach, and he said if they would have them seniors would have walked out on him, he would have told them stay out. You know what I mean? I would have played with what I had instead of walking away. And the mistake that this coach made was walking away. I would have just said, hey, good, fine, go ahead and walk away. I don't care if I lose. You got to set some kind of precedent here. But I mean, for her to have to step down and resign, I smell something fishy here, Leo. And I think it's the football coach's daughter. She's a senior, and I think she wants to try to move up in the world. She's a bench player, the best bench player in the WPIAL. And I feel bad for this woman because she had to do this, and I don't know why she did, and I don't know why the seniors walked out on her. I really don't. I don't know what is all going on. Nobody's talking. So we're just going to have to go from there. But I think it's a bad precedent when you're a school that has a good football program, a good basketball program on both ends, great kids, and this is what has happened in the last month in this school district.
well, you know what, Ralph? Here's the thing. Uh, if I'm the principal and those seniors walk out, first thing I'm doing is I'm backing my coach. I don't care what's
Right,
happening.
exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
obviously, and you know what, Ralph? I was a teacher for 45 years. I was a high school
Right.
coach before college and getting into scouting and that. But one thing you find out, you know how you get rid of a bad teacher, Ralph?
Oh,
You make them a bad administrator because you take them out of the classroom.
right,
You know
exactly.
they and I've had a situation where this occurred to me. You know, the head coach and I for the basketball program back in New Jersey. Now, this is back in 1976, but we're at the bar after go scout a game. We're having a cheesesteak, and in walks our captain. He walks out with 2 cases of beer. Well, guess what? He's 17. Right?
Wow.
So we walk in, call him in, said, "Hey, you're done." Boom, he's tears, everything. Principal and the athletic director called us in the office and said, "You can't do this." I said, "Wait, what are you telling me?" I said, "Well, he's model student, this, that, and the other thing." You know what I did, Ralph? I put the whistle on the desk and I said, "Hey, at the end of the year, you can find somebody else. Because obviously you're not backing me." And you know what? By walking
I think
out,
that's what she did. This coach. I think that's exactly what she did.
what she did.
Yeah.
She said, "Hey, you're not going to back me on this. You're going to make me." She probably said, "You got to take them back." And then she said, "You know what? Here's the whistle."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I don't blame her for that. I mean, if
Ralph,
that's
if
what
you
she
ever
did.
get her on, I want you to ask her that question. Did they
I
tell
will.
you had to take them back?
Yeah, I will ask her that question because they did have a meeting after the seniors walked out, and the administration and this coach, and then she wanted to rescind her resignation, and they told her, no, you have to reapply for your job. And the GM at my station, Frank Sparks, he said, or at the radio station where I have my show, he said that always means you'll never get your job back, is what that means. Because he said, he would, like I said, he was a basketball coach, which I didn't notice until he said something yesterday. And he was talking about it on the morning show yesterday on Beaver County Radio. And I was like, wow. I mean, I didn't know he was a coach, and he understands the politics of this. And he said the worst thing that I ever had to deal with was parents. And he said, but I cracked the whip, he says, with them parents. And I told him, your kid can't play because he just can't play. It has nothing to do with the politics or anything,
And you know what, Ralph? The first thing you tell people when they come in is, look, this isn't the YMC. It's not the CYO. It's not the PAL. It's not a Little League. You are not guaranteed playing time. It's not happening. So you know what? Get used to it.
Oh, yeah. All right, Leo, let's get started here. Oh, by the way, I think Philadelphia is going to have a great year this year. Nick Sirianni went and surrounded himself with 2 good coordinators, Vic Fangio and Kellen Moore. What do you think about Philly?
Oh, I like them.
Yeah.
Again, you got experienced people there, and you know what? Kellen Moore's been around. He's seen Justin Herbert. He's seen Zach Prescott. Now he gets to come in and he gets to set the table with Jalen Hurts. And 2 things you can't coach, Ralph. Can't coach size. You can't coach speed. And they've got speed galore on the perimeter, and that's the key. Plus, Fangio, he knows how to deal with every imaginable circumstance.
Now, he's been in it. He's been in it for so long,
Yeah, and you know what? I don't blame the Eagles coordinators last year, because on offense, it kind of looked like there was a revolt there, that, Hurts kind of was doing his own thing. And on defense, they just were out of bodies. They just didn't have anybody left. So you know what? That's something I can't really comment on. I'm not back in the locker room. I talked to Ken Podolak, who's been on the show already, and it like you said, something didn't smell right. Something didn't smell right up there either.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I cannot believe that a guy that took his team to the Super Bowl and then the following year has, they ended up in the playoffs and then blows it, and then the coach's job is up for grabs, and now all of a sudden which Sirianni did, he went out and he got some new coordinators, and I cannot believe that he's on eggshells up there. I just can't believe it at all.
Ralph, I'm going to tell you right now, watch. If you do not get your owner a home playoff game, you are on eggshells.
Yeah, I know. You've been telling us that. Yeah, that's where the pay dirt is, as they say.
Cha-ching, cha-ching. Because remember, the only thing that San Francisco or Kansas City is going to get is Lombardi Trophy. That's it. There's no money.
There's no money there. Right.
If you go through Like Kansas City had one home game. That's it.
Right. Yeah.
They played 3 games, one home game. There was one year when the Packers won it, they were the visiting team 3 times. Green Bay got nothing. So
Got
you know
nothing.
what?
Right.
You get that prestige of holding up the Lombardi Trophy, but you're probably thinking, "Damn, I wish I had a home game," because it's anywhere between an added, I would say, $50 to $100 million for the owner, just for that one home game. If you get two of them, oh my Lord. San Francisco was cha-ching, cha-ching. Buffalo, it was cha-ching, cha-ching.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Oh
Baltimore,
yeah.
Baltimore. So those guys, everybody say, oh, they better get fired. No, 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 no. Not when you're putting 150 to $200 million of found money in your owner's pocket. They're not getting rid of you. That's why Andy
Oh, I
Reid
know.
lasted. That's why Andy Reid lasted so long in Philly. He was always getting
Oh,
home playoff games.
absolutely. All right. Next, Chip Kelly. Rumor has it he wants to come back to the NFL as a coordinator. What do you think's going on down in UCLA down there that we have Chip Kelly wanting to leave? I know he's been doing sort of mediocre down there. This year, I think they were like 6-5 and went to some low end bowl. And last year they played Pitt in a bowl game and lost. He got criticized for that. What are your thoughts on Chip Kelly?
Hey, Ralph, when you're looking at probably having to play an away game at Rutgers, at Maryland, I,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why anybody would want to coach at UCLA or USC. Thank God you
Yes.
can at least, you're going to play, your crosstown rival, and thank
Right.
God you're going to play Oregon and Washington. I think the Big Ten, I think those 4 West Coast teams should be screaming at the Big Ten, hey, pick up Washington State and Oregon State,
Yeah.
because it's logistically smart to do that. And
Right.
they're going,
Exactly.
yeah, and they're going to one big schedule like the ACC is and everybody else
Yeah.
is.
Yeah,
You
we're
know,
playing California this year at home. Pitt
yeah,
is. So I mean, and then I think next year we play SMU.
yeah,
So I mean, so I know those two teams are already in the cycle as far as the ACC goes. But
yeah. The
yeah, Chip
ACC,
Kelly wanting to leave. I don't know if he wants to leave or if the administration wants him out. It sounds to me like the administration could want him out. And if they don't get him out soon, they're going to ruin their whole season because he has to get out there and start recruiting whoever this new coach may be. So,
how hard is it going to be to recruit when you're
yes,
telling these kids, right? Your closest game outside of those three is going to be Minnesota
Rutgers
or
and Rutgers
Nebraska.
and
I mean,
Nebraska. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, it's like I I don't know what they're thinking. If money's that important, that's just like the ACC's in the same boat. You got
yes,
Cal, you got
yes,
Stanford, you got SMU, and
yes.
I
And you have an
really
out of control NCAA administration that does
no,
absolutely nothing because all they worry about is money.
yeah, it's not out
You
of
see it with
control.
the NIL, you see it with the transfer portal, Leo, and we all know it's the same thing.
Yeah, frack, it's not out of control. It's just no control.
No
And
control, right?
we were sitting here at the ReliaQuest Bowl, and Brian Kelly and Luke Fickle were just adamant about, there needs to be some, guardrails on this. You know,
Right,
there's an early signing date in December, and people can get in the portal and that. I mean, we're sitting there waiting to interview the two of them on signing day. They had to go out because they're talking guys out of the portal. I mean, they, there needs to be some rules, and the fact that the NCAA doesn't see that is
right,
crazy. And I'll tell you what, if they don't get this playoff picture right, all hell's going to break loose, because it's a simple fix, Ralph, and I'm going to put it out there right now. The Power Four conferences, the Pac-12 is going away.
right,
So the winner of the ACC, the SEC, the Big 12, and the Big 10, they get that automatic bye. They're in.
right,
The 4 teams that lost, they're going to be the host of the first round games. All the committee has to do now is pick the 3 at large and the one group of 5 that has the highest rating to fill out the 12. The reason why that's not going to happen is because the SEC is going to want 6 teams. And you know what?
right.
They're going to get crucified for that. The fact that they may be able to get 3, sometimes 4, that may happen. But to think 5 or 6, are you kidding me? Come on.
Right, exactly. Oh
It,
yeah. Okay, next, before you head out, how much time do you have, Leo?
hey, I got my drink here, Ralph. I'm ready to roll.
Okay, good. Because let's talk about the Super Bowl. We know it's Kansas City versus the 49ers. Both of these teams, what do you think both teams have to do? I think the first thing they have to do is not make any mistakes. Either team, if they want to win this, control both ends of the lines of scrimmage and quarterback play. You think those are the important things there?
Well, I'll tell you what, if I'm the 49ers, I'm going back and I'm going to watch the Bucks uh, Chiefs Super Bowl tape and see what the Bucks did to the Chiefs. You know what they did? They put speed rushers on the edge, and they made Patrick Mahomes. He couldn't escape up the middle because guess what? There's big old Vita Vea sitting there waiting on him.
Right, right.
He had to not just go around the end; he had to retreat. They figured out he ran over 500 yards trying to escape that day. So if I'm the 49ers, I'm coming hard off the edge, and my middle two guys, they're not rushing. They're just sitting there and making sure Mahomes can't go up the middle. So one thing, Ralph, you want to look at, let's see which quarterback's jersey is the cleanest come the fourth quarter, because that'll tell you
Yeah,
who's going to
absolutely.
lead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. When you get your uniform dirty, that means you're really working, so,
Yeah,
but
it means you
anyway,
spend a lot of time on the grass.
excuse me, absolutely as well. Okay, next. Today we have the Senior Bowl. Tomorrow we have the East West Shrine game. Some mock drafts are out there already. What are your thoughts on the Senior Bowl this year?
Well, it's nice to see. And again, Ralph, the big things I think you get out of the Senior Bowl, the East West, the Shrine game, is that you have personal interviews. You've got enough tape. These guys have put just this year at least 12 and some 15 games on tape. You'll see it. You don't go in there and say, okay, they've been doing this offense for 4 days. You're not going to see great play. But you got to have a chance to sit down with these kids and do personal interview. I always call the combine, Ralph. I said that's spring break for pro coaches because the only thing, and your guest yesterday, he kind of chastised me because I didn't really explain it well. And I don't blame him coming back. But the only thing the combine is good for is the personal interviews. That's it. What they do on the field is worthless because it's in shorts, it's drills. You got receivers running 3 routes in the same, and the guys are throwing 3 different balls: catch, drop, catch, drop, catch, drop. You got running shuttle runs. You got this. None of that equates to football. You got a guy lifting weights. None of that equates to football. Can you play? Look at film. Again, I said if a scout came back to me and I was the owner and said we need to draft this guy because of what he did at the combine, and I'd ask him, I said, from the interview, he said, no, what he did at the combine on the field, you're fired. Pink slip. I want to know what they did on film. What do they do on Saturday? Because that's going to equate to Sunday.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'm looking at a mock draft here. Hold on, I was trying to find one. JT, who was one of the guests on yesterday's The External Bum Show, and also sponsor of my stuff, Draft 412, soon to be Draft Nation. He put out a mock draft, and I'm trying to find it again because I lost it. I wanted to see who he had Tampa predicting to take. Who right now down there in Tampa? What's the thought process? Who do you think they're going to go after, or what are they going to do in the draft?
Well, the first thing you need to do is figure out what you do in Baker Mayfield. They
Yeah,
supposedly they signed the offensive coordinator off the Rams.
yeah, that Diaz or Lewis.
Jim, yeah.
Yeah,
And they got to figure out what they're doing with Baker. Are they going to sign him,
okay.
or are they going to let him walk? And again, that will determine what they're doing in the draft. One of the weakest spots they have right now on that team is linebacker because they're going to probably lose Devin White. He's probably going to walk.
Right.
You got 54. He's so long too. Levante David, he's like 10, 11 years now.
Right.
You're going to have to
So
find
he's starting
somebody.
to wear down more or less, you know.
Yeah, yeah. It just
Right.
they're getting old, and
Okay.
I think you want to go down that road, and you got to
Hmm.
figure out what Mike Evans is doing. It's they got some serious decisions to make before the draft. Now, I'll tell you what, there are two or three really great wide receivers in this draft with Harrison, the kid from LSU. Yeah, crazy.
Yes. All right, Leo. Let's talk a little bit about the NHL All-Star Game, which I believe is tonight or tomorrow. What are your thoughts on? I mean, we had a discussion yesterday a little bit about the Pro Bowl. I call it the Pro Bowl. We also had, about the different All-Star games. Of all of them, I think that the hockey All-Star Game, the NHL, and I think the Major League Baseball All-Star Game are probably the two best ones of the four. The Pro Bowl and the NBA All-Star Game. What do you think?
Well, they're the best of the worst. And
Right.
again, Ralph, I'll
Yes.
explain.
Yeah.
Let me go
Exactly. Yeah.
backwards. Let me go backwards. Okay. The money is so stupidly rich with the NFL. You can't
Right.
afford these guys, players and owners can't afford to get guys get hurt in a game that, doesn't matter. In fact, it doesn't matter. Hockey and the NBA, if there's a check thrown in the hockey game or there's defense played in the NBA All-Star game, it'll be a first. That they're like endangered species. And again, for the same reason. There's the risk reward. The risk far outweighs the reward on all three of those, the NFL, the NHL, and the NBA. You got multi-million dollar players out there. You got owners who have put millions of dollars into them. You can't afford that. And you know what? Baseball, but you got guys pitching one inning. You got this. And you
Yeah.
know what? Ray Fosse may disagree with us on that because Pete Rose ended his career in an All-Star game. So yeah,
Right.
I think it's time to get away from them because players don't want to go
No,
because
no.
it's
Just
the
pay them extra and let it be done with. The only people who make out on this is the city that hosts it. Like, for instance, if Pittsburgh was to host the All-Star Game, we'd make all kinds of money at PNC Park, and we have hosted, I think, two. We had one at Three River Stadium, and I think we had one at PNC Park. So what I'm saying is that that's the only city in baseball that makes money, and the NHL's the same way. The city that hosts it makes a lot of money for tourism and
yeah.
all that stuff.
And you know what, Ralph? I can tell you how old I am. Remember the college all-star game when the college all-stars would play the NFL champion in a
Yeah, that
preseason
was
game?
back in the yes.
Oh
That was
my.
back in the yes.
Oh,
I,
back in
I
the
I've heard of that.
late 50s, 60s. I mean, I'm going think about trying to do that now. You know?
Oh, the
Oh.
union for the NFL would go ballistic. They'd be like, "Oh, no way, we're not doing this,"
Yeah,
and the
none of the
owners
college
and the
players.
owners wouldn't cooperate either.
Yeah, and none of the college players. And you know what, Ralph? Last thing, I know we're going long, but the
That's fine.
NCAA, listen. You need to listen because just because you're going to 12 teams doesn't mean people are going to opt out of these playoff games. You're going to make anywhere from 1.5 to an excess of $2 billion next year on rights fees for this game. Put $100 million aside and ensure anybody who the NFL designates could be a first or second round draft choice.
Wow.
Insure them for
Oh,
$10 million for that
I'm
game.
just I'm just turning on the NFL Network right now, and they are reporting that Atlanta has just assembled their staff, and the Raiders are now assembling their new staff. I'm not even interested in this Pro Bowl stuff. I'm just looking at the ticker take here, and
Yeah.
there's some things going on here. Ryan Jensen is retiring,
Yep. He's
and then
retired.
yeah, exactly. So, all right, Leo, thank you for being part of the program today. It's always a pleasure to have you on, and all your
Always
guys
fun.
from Amped Up Sports. It's
And
always
I
great.
will talk to you Friday. And if you ever want another round table with basketball or baseball or that, let me know and we'll take care of business.
Yeah, I think we might do something in March when the NCAA tournament starts up. I
Oh,
love the NCAA tournament.
oh yeah, I got two former head coaches, Larry DiBiase and John Lentz, who I played high school with, and his running mate was Rick Barnes when he was at Lenore Ryan. So yeah.
Oh, get out of here for real! Wow.
Oh yeah, for real.
Oh yeah.
All right, guys.
I'll have him on my radio show here, man. That'll
Yeah.
be a treat
Hey,
for everybody.
yeah. One last thing.
Go
We
ahead.
do a football camp up in Pittsburgh in February. I'd really love for you to get Matt uh, Griffin on, who's the owner. He lives right out there in the outskirts of Pittsburgh, and maybe have him on to talk about camp. Have him and I on, and we can talk and tell everybody what it's like. Because
Sure.
yeah,
Sure. Give me the date, and I'll have you on the show before the date, or Stu, or whatever.
we'll take care of it. Yeah, we deal it with the Steelers, so that's what's nice.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Yep.
Great. Yeah. Sure. I'll be
All right,
glad to have you on. So,
all right, my friend.
thanks,
You have a
Leo.
great weekend.
You too. Thanks, Leo. Leo Haggerty, my co-host here, for telling it like it is. We got to take care of some business, and I have some announcements for you. And then also your comments. We're in the First Line Consulting Services Studios. 1-877-926-6982 is the number to call. If you need a website at all to be put up, managed, and also the videos uploaded as well, they do all that for you for one low monthly price. We come back right after these words. Let me talk to you here today about Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. 724-201-0500. Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. They have the best technicians to handle your furnace, air conditioner, UV lighting, snow melt, much, much more. Call them today, 724-201-0500. Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. You can also catch them on Facebook at Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. Mata, you oughta call Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. I'm here to talk to you today about a sponsorship advertising at a low cost. 412-545-4317 is the number to call for low-cost advertising with RW Media Productions. You get Sports Corner Radio on Beaver County Radio. You get 4 podcasts. You also get 3 national shows on Blog Talk Radio. All that for one low price. That number again, 412-545-4317, sponsorship advertising. Hello, Ralph Williams here to talk to you today about Sleep Pittsburgh, 8th Avenue, Homestead, for the best selection of affordable mattresses, day beds, lift chairs, futons, and more. Check out sleeppittsburgh.com for their inventory or call 412-462-7858. They also offer no credit check financing and a whole lot more. Sleep Pittsburgh for the best sleep tonight. I'm here to talk. Draft412.com is a website that provides you with all of the best information about any draft, NHL, Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, any kind of draft. 412.com has an e-magazine delivered to your inbox for $9 a month, and also they give you all the skinny and on all the athletes, and also podcasts. Draft412.com. Ralph Williams here today to let you know that I am handicapped. I'm in a wheelchair, and I will not deny it. But I've had some recent inconveniences lately. So you know what I did? I went out and I reached out to foldandtravelmobility.com. You know, foldandtravelmobility.com has some of the best folding power wheelchairs. Look, do you not go to certain events because you can't get there, or you can't make it because you need a folding power wheelchair to put in your vehicle? Well, guess what? Foldandtravelmobility.com has the right model for you. Get in touch with them today. Foldandtravelmobility.com. Get on the phone, 1-877-GOTFOLD, foldandtravelmobility.com, 1-877-GOTFOLD. Let the experts help you get into a folding power wheelchair. Don't be sad. Be glad. Let your life get back in order. Foldandtravelmobility.com. Today is your lucky day. I'm here to talk to you today about Hillcrest Farm, Richmond, Ohio, 45 minutes from downtown Pittsburgh, right up the hill from Steubenville, Ohio. Look,
Hillcrest Farm, Richmond, Ohio, has the best hay grain beef around, and they have some great package deals like the ground beef box for $95 for 20 pounds of ground beef. You can reach them at 740-346-5442, 740-632-2894. Email them at hillcrestfarmsohio@gmail.com, or check out their website at www.hillcrestfarmsohio.com, or on their Facebook page at Hillcrest Farm. Some of the best hay grain beef around, and right up the hill from Steubenville, Ohio. Hillcrest Farm in Richmond, Ohio, has the best hay grain beef around. Hillcrest Farm, Richmond, Ohio.
All right, we're back here at Telling It Like It Is, and we're going to be here for a couple more minutes. I have some announcements regarding to RW Media Production Programming coming up on Monday at 11 a.m. Ralph's Opinion, and I got to tell you, we have a lot to talk about. Everything from the attacks on our troops by Iran. We have some national stuff going on. We have situations now where we don't want to hold parents accountable for a lot of things involving our kids. They're hauling in the social media people and asking for them to help to stop. We're going to talk about this on Monday. Again, I want to know why we're not hauling parents to the carpet. That's what I want to know. All right, instead of hauling in the social media people who are going to do what they're going to do, regardless of how many times you haul them in. All right. Anyway, 11 a.m. Ralph's Opinion, Blog Talk Radio, 563-999-3740 for you to listen to the show. And you can chat on blogtalkradio.com. And what you'll have to do is go on blogtalkradio.com, become a listening subscriber to the show as well. And you can chat with me live right on blogtalkradio.com, and you can check out the show live on there as well. Monday night, 7 p.m., we have The Way We See It with me, Ralph Williams, and Bill Canada. And we have a lot to talk about there as well. A bunch of blasts, including this stuff with McKeesport High School. I've taken it national, and I'm going to bring it back local. And I'm going to just do this all the way around, because McKeesport High School, they have egg on their face. All right. So also, and that's on our social media platforms. It's YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter X platforms as well. Then on Tuesday, Sports Corner Radio Show, Beaver County Radio, FM 99.3, AM 1230, and also live on Beaver County Radio's Facebook page, YouTube channel, their website, their app, and www.rwmedia.org, which is my website and the website for our RW Media Productions, where they have it's Sports Corner with me, Ralph Williams, Smoking Jim Frazier, and our guests this week are going to be Matt Venzel from the Post-Gazette to talk Pittsburgh Penguins, and also we have Matt Grubba coming on from the Pittsburgh River Hounds, and he's going to talk about their season. They've signed some players, and I'm working on a guest for the 5 o'clock hour, and we're going to try to have Bubba Brewer back on at 5:30 to talk wrestling in our wrestling segment. And your phone call, 724-843-1888 and 724-774-1888 are the numbers to call. You can be involved in the show in a lot of different ways. No excuse not to at least listen or watch Sports Corner Radio Show every Tuesday, 4 to 6 p.m. Beaver County Radio with me, Ralph Williams, Smoking Jim Frazier. And then Wednesday nights at 7 p.m., it's Ralph Williams, Smoking Jim Frazier, the Pittsburgh Sports Talk Show, Blog Talk Radio in the 563-999-3740. This is a big trending show. We had a huge roundtable last week, and this week I'm working on some guests. I haven't pinned them down yet, but we're getting there. I'll let you know coming up on at the beginning of the week as to who our guests will be Wednesday. But regardless, it's a 1 hour sports talk show. We're going to trying to get some local guys that come on and talk some different topics. We're going to see what happens here. Also, that is on Blog Talk Radio as well. And the number again, 563-999-3740. Call your friend, call your cousin, call somebody, get them involved. And one thing I want to talk about here is Hometown Pizza in Moon Township, right on University Boulevard. Stop in or eat in or take out, or call for delivery if you live in the Moon area. And tell them Ralph Williams sent you. 412-264-4444. You will get a discount on your order. So don't forget to get a hold of the original Hometown Pizza, Moon Township. All right. Also on Fridays, every Friday morning, the External Bum podcast, or a show with me, Ralph Williams, Scott Morgan from the South Florida Tribune, Leo Haggerty from Amped Up Sports, and also JT Toth from the Draft 412, soon to be Draft Nation. We talk bums and sports from 10:30 a.m. to 11. We're talking about going 45 minutes, maybe an hour, because we always have a lot to talk about and can never squeeze it all in. So we're going to be possibly doing that. But as of right now, we're at 10:30 in the morning till 11. Blog Talk Radio 563-999-3740. And also don't forget to check it out on blogtalkradio.com as well. You know what to do there. But you can also check out all my archive versions of all the shows that I have for RW Media Productions on Blog Talk Radio by simply going to blogtalkradio.com/RW Media, and you'll see all my archive versions of my shows. Check them all out. Ralph's Opinion, Pittsburgh Sports Talk, some of the old Wrestle Talk shows are still on there. And also don't forget about the External Bum show every Friday as well. We talk about bums in sports and other sports topics as well. It's the External Bum Show every Friday, and then Saturday right here, as you see right here, telling it like it is, every Saturday morning, 10:30 a.m. Ralph Williams and Leo Haggerty. All right, have yourselves a great day, and it's been a pleasure. Don't forget, we got the Senior Bowl on, we got the Pro Bowl going on right now with some of their stuff, and you also have the Senior Bowl, the NHL All-Star Game this weekend, the East-West Shrine Game. Check out some of these college things. It's not a bad thing. All right. So, all right. It's time for me to go. You folks have a great weekend, and be safe. And don't forget all our W Media Production shows. And also, I forgot to mention as well, if you're interested and you're a national person, listen from Texas or whatever, and you have a business and you want to advertise for RW Media Productions, call 412-545-4317 or get on email at ralphwilliams737@gmail.com. Also for the mailbag as well. And also don't forget to get on and we could talk with you about some advertising, some small national advertising on Blog Talk Radio only. And then we can also, or on the social media platform shows, or even in Beaver County Radio. I mean, because we're national with that on the YouTube channel, on their Facebook page, and also on their website. So don't forget, a lot of perspective with national advertising and also advertising sponsorship with RW Media shows. Some very inexpensive and affordable advertising. 412-545-4317 or Ralph Williams 737@gmail.com. We're here in the First Line Consulting Services Studios, 1-877-926-6982. Don't forget to give them a call if you need a website put up, or if you need any type of not only just a website, but also to have it managed and your videos uploaded as well. All right, you have yourself a great weekend once again, and have a good one. Be safe.
But I guess you never knew. I guess I never stopped the move. Every now I got to know. Cause I know it was the start. Maybe when you broke my heart, that I can't stop my day. I will show you that I'm ready. You're mine. Those times I said that I love you, you're mine. Yes, I try, yes, I try. You're mine. I know you will, I die for you, you're mine. Yes, I cry, yes, I cry. Oh my God, here I am. Once again. So I'm back up in my games. Running times against my swine. Letting all the people know that I'm back to rock the show. Like a dead and over. And all the nasty things you know. So better dance against my lead. While I sing my song. She said she'd never turn on me. What you did. But it's been you said I've never been. I do. Stop that feel great. She said she'd never turn on me. You did. This thing you said I've never been.